High above the Alaskan landscape, the commercial flight corridor is normally a picture of predictability. You have clear skies, stunning views, and highly trained pilots relying on a standard array of instruments to navigate the airspace safely. Yet tucked inside this pristine airspace is a dead zone. It is a specific pocket of sky where modern aviation technology simply stops working. This is Mount Hayes. To pilots on this route, the peak is a jagged monolith where magnetic anomalies and erratic downdrafts swallow aircraft whole. When a plane goes down here, it rarely leaves a trace. The mountain simply absorbs it. For decades, these disappearances fueled local ghost stories. But a review of declassified incident reports from the area reveals a highly mechanical, measurable reality. Mount Hayes functions as an active trap, a strict sequence of overlapping geophysical and atmospheric anomalies that trigger the moment an aircraft flies too close. The first phase of this sequence relies on a visual illusion. Mount Hayes is a massive, jagged monolith jutting out of a sprawling valley. Because it is completely blanketed in blinding white snow, there is very little contrast for the human eye to process. Without visual anchors like trees or exposed rock patterns, a pilot loses their natural ability to accurately judge how far away the mountain is, or how fast they are approaching it. The scale of the landscape becomes impossible to read. When a pilot realizes they cannot trust what they see out the window, standard protocol dictates an immediate switch. They pull their eyes inside the cockpit and lock entirely onto their artificial horizon and digital navigation panels. That forced reliance on the instrument panel sets the stage for the mountain's next hazard. Hidden directly beneath the snow is a severe, localized magnetic anomaly. The physical profile of Mount Hayes is composed of highly specific, iron-rich rock formations. These formations emit intense magnetic fields that violently conflict with the Earth's true magnetic north, distorting the surrounding grid. The moment an aircraft enters this warped field, its systems are compromised. Compasses begin to drift, and the digital navigation equipment starts feeding the pilot subtly false telemetry. The pilot is now flying totally blind. They suffer from complete spatial disorientation, completely unaware that the very instruments they are trusting to save them are feeding them incorrect data. By dismantling the navigation tools, the mountain redirects a perfectly controlled flight into a blind trajectory, sending the plane directly toward the final hazard. Drifting completely off course and unaware of their true position, the aircraft crosses a highly volatile atmospheric threshold. They encounter erratic downdrafts, sudden, aggressive downward rivers of high-altitude air. The jagged topography of Mount Hayes acts like a funnel. It catches horizontal winds, and fluid dynamics accelerate them into extreme downward velocities along the mountain's face. When a plane hits one of these vertical vortices, it is instantly robbed of all of its aerodynamic lift. The aircraft simply stops flying and plummets thousands of feet in a matter of seconds. This is entirely different from standard heavy turbulence, which shakes a plane but leaves it airborne. A pilot caught in a severe downdraft has zero reaction time to pull up before impacting the terrain. Because the aircraft hits the ground at such extreme velocity, it often punches directly into the deep snow-covered glacial crevasses that line the base of the mountain. The ice quickly shifts, burying the plane completely and leaving no visible wreckage for search teams. The downdraft is the physical executioner, delivering an unavoidable blow that is only made possible because the magnetic field blindfolded the pilot first. Mount Hayes operates as a dynamic system. It represents a highly specific intersection where severe terrestrial magnetism perfectly aligns with volatile fluid dynamics. It generates a compounding chain of errors. The stark white visuals force the pilot to rely on their instruments. The magnetic field breaks those instruments, and the massive downdrafts pull the aircraft out of the sky. The aviators who vanish here are casualties of a perfectly calibrated geological machine, caught in a sequence where magnetic drift and vertical vortices override any possible human intervention. Mount Hayes reveals a critical failure point in modern aviation, the moment where our standard navigation technology is systematically dismantled by the environment itself. In extreme environments, the jagged peak itself is secondary. The lethal threat lies in the invisible, atmospheric forces surrounding the mountain.